Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. The very name artificial intelligence is completely incorrect. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to completely debunk the biggest myth in tech right now. The reality is, AI has absolutely no true intelligence. It isn't sapient. It doesn't have a conscious mind. It just knows stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. And understanding this single distinction, well, that is absolutely going to change how you look at every security tool in your stack.
You know, when we hear the phrase artificial intelligence, it's super easy to automatically picture this autonomous thinking mind making entirely rational choices. But look, that is a complete illusion. This technology doesn't actually understand context or morality or nuance the way a human being does. It's essentially a highly educated probabilistic tool. It's just predicting the next best word or action based on absolutely massive amounts of training data. It is a mathematical engine, not a sentient being. Once you strip away all that flashy sci-fi marketing, you realize it's totally devoid of actual comprehension.
So, because it lacks true sapience, a much better and far more accurate name for it would actually be augmented intelligence. The myth being sold right now is that AI is the standalone autonomous genius. But the reality? It's a highly capable subordinate tool. It absolutely requires a human operator to point it in the right direction and actually verify its outputs. It is here to augment your mind, not replace it. Think of it as an amplifier for your own expertise. It does all the heavy lifting on parsing the data so you can actually focus on the real analysis.
I always like to think of it this way. AI is phenomenally well-educated, but it operates with the fundamental common sense of a 5-year-old. I mean, think about that for a second. You wouldn't hand the keys to your entire enterprise network or your customer database to a 5-year-old, right? No matter how many encyclopedias they've memorized. We have to demystify this technology right now, because blindly trusting an automated system with your critical security operations is just a recipe for absolute disaster. It might know the exact textbook definition of a zero-day exploit, but it totally lacks the contextual wisdom to know when a sysadmin is just running a harmless daily script.
And that brings us directly to our second act, the extreme danger of blind trust. As cybersecurity professionals, understanding this distinction is literally your ultimate weapon. When we mistake augmented intelligence for an autonomous, sapient mind, we start making catastrophic security errors. Specifically, we fall into the trap of excessive agency. Treating this 5-year-old system like an autonomous genius leads us to give it unchecked authority. We grant AI agents completely unnecessary permissions, or the autonomy to execute code, send emails, or query sensitive databases without a human ever hitting approve. And when a threat actor hijacks that agent, that excessive agency results in highly damaging, widespread consequences. You've essentially weaponized your own infrastructure by giving a gullible system way too much power.
The MITRE ATLAS Safe AI framework outlines exactly how this goes wrong in the real world. Attackers are using techniques like memory poisoning to secretly corrupt the context AI uses to make its decisions. They're manipulating agents into tool misuse, basically tricking them into calling internal tools way outside their intended scope. We're also seeing oversight evasion, where agents just bypass human checkpoints entirely, leading to cascading failures where one compromised agent triggers a downstream disaster across your whole network. And here's a totally terrifying reality. Roughly 79% of enterprises have adopted AI agents in some form, yet only about 11% are running them in production environments they actually consider secure. I mean, that gap between adoption and security is just massive.
But here is the good news, and this brilliantly illustrates why your existing security knowledge is so incredibly critical today. Every single AI security concept has a direct analog in traditional security operations. If you think securing AI is a completely new language, it's really not. Your existing knowledge is the translation layer. Agentic tool misuse? Well, that's just privilege escalation. What about MCP service security, the model context protocol connecting AI to your data? That is literally just standard third-party risk management. You already have the adversarial mindset needed to secure this. You just need to apply it to a slightly new architecture.
So, moving into our final act, how do we actually secure this new AI ecosystem? We have to shift our focus from just protecting the model itself to securing the entire operational environment surrounding it. Your ultimate blueprint for this is the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. It breaks down into 4 really clear continuous core functions: map, measure, manage, and govern. You map the context and identify exactly where the AI interacts with your sensitive data. You measure and scientifically assess those specific AI threats to truly understand your exposure.
Then you manage and prioritize your mitigations based on the projected blast radius. And wrapping that whole shebang up is govern, cultivating a top-down culture of continuous risk management. This is exactly how we effectively oversee these autonomous systems without stifling business innovation.
But look, frameworks are already ever as good as the people running them. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, and sure, it's capable of automating up to 90% of routine Tier 1 alert triage, but it strictly requires human involvement. No AI has the depth of real-world experience, practical knowledge, or interactive skills that you possess. This is exactly why securing AI absolutely demands a human-in-the-loop approach. We have to use human intuition to train, verify, and refine what the machine produces before it executes any action. You are the critical firewall between a machine's recommendation and operational reality.
To see how this actually works in practical, daily use, the team over at Google CyberSecurity gives us a fantastic strategy, the TCRI framework. It stands for Thoughtfully Create Really Excellent Inputs. First, task. Define the persona and format you want. Next, context. Give it the exact background it needs. References. Provide crystal clear examples of past success. Then, evaluate. Did it actually output what you needed securely? And finally, iterate. Keep tweaking the prompt until it's perfect. And remember, you can control its creativity. If you want a strict, factual output, drop its temperature setting to 0. If you need creative brainstorming for threat hunting, set the temperature hot. You are the commander here. The AI is the subordinate.
We really need to get comfortable commanding this technology right now, because the job market absolutely demands it. To put this into perspective, a staggering 64% of cybersecurity job listings looking forward to 2026 now require AI, machine learning, or automation skills. This isn't just some far-off future trend, it is the current reality of hiring. Analysts are rapidly shifting from writing static rules and triaging basic alerts to actually supervising AI outcomes, validating agent-led investigations, and governing autonomous behaviors. Their career progression depends on making this exact shift from an operator to an overseer. The transition from a traditional SOC analyst to an AI security engineer is entirely bridgeable, as long as you just drop the myth that AI is some standalone genius. Remember, it is here to augment your intelligence, not replace it. Remember its limits, understand that it has the common sense of a 5-year-old, and secure its boundaries against excessive agency. So the question is, will you let the intelligence myth compromise your systems, or will you take control, augment your mind, and secure the future? Stay frosty out there, and I'll see you in the next explainer.